Hey guys, so I've gotten a few requests recently to do a full face of my least used makeup, and I thought we would do this kind of shop my stash style. I like to do a shop my stash video like this once a month, so I figured we would go through my collection together and pick out the products that I feel like I use the least. In some categories, I don't really feel like I have a least used product because I might only have like 2 or 3 products in that category and I use them all equally, but in most categories I think I do have a least used product. I can definitely think of a few that have been very neglected. So let's go ahead and take a look into my collection and pick out some of those products. I recently actually gave you guys a full tour of my makeup collection, so if you want to see that, I will link it below. But this top drawer is actually some of my most used products because these are Project Pan items and then things that I just use every day like mascara and stuff. So I'm just going to pick out the things that I know I'm going to use, like my brow pomade, my eye primer, things like that that I don't really have multiples of in my collection. My mascara, typically use both of these. Brow gel, actually yeah, I'm going to grab both of these too. My NYX glitter primer, my Jordana brow gel, and then I think that is all for this drawer. So then in this next drawer we have base products, and as far as primers go, I only own 3 and I feel like I use them all pretty equally, so I might actually just skip primer today. Actually, I think I will grab my NYX Angel Veil because even though it is in my Project Pan, I have not been using it as much as I would like to, so whoops. So I'm just going to grab this one since I don't really have a least used primer. And then for foundation, I have these 5, and then I do have the Pacifica one in my Project Pan, but that is definitely my current most used. So actually my least used of these is the NYX Born To Glow. This one is really kind of like a summer foundation for me. That's the only time of year that it really looks good. And I would like to use this because it's been a while since I've used it and I kind of do want to retest it and see how it looks because we are getting into the summer now. For concealer, these are my 5 concealers and then I have my Too Faced one in my Project Pan. But out of these, I would say my Pacifica Liquid Cover and my Milani Conceal Perfect are my least used, also my least favorites. I'm going to grab this Milani Conceal Perfect because I do feel like it's been a long time since I've used this and I would like to kind of retest it. And then for setting spray, I'm going to grab the Urban Decay Chill because I feel like of the 3 I do reach for this one the least. Alright, next I have cream cheek products and I actually feel like I use all of these pretty regularly. I do have 2 cream bronzers in here and I definitely don't use this Undone water bronzer very often. This is the shade Baked. It looks super dark but it doesn't actually go on the skin this dark. It's more just like a warm bronzer on my skin tone. So I'm going to grab that because I definitely don't feel like I use this very often, especially because I use this E.L.F. soft beige eyeshadow as a bronzer most days since that's in my Project Pan. So we're going to take a break from that and try this out again today. Everything else, I feel like I use all of this stuff. I'm going to take a look into my powder cheek drawer because I do feel like some of these don't get quite as much use. Let's pick a face powder out of here first because this is where I keep my face powders. Of all of these, I feel like this Jordana Forever Flawless powder really does not get used very much. Really most days I'm using this E.L.F. Prime and Stay powder that's in my Project Pan, but this one I definitely haven't used in quite some time. So there are actually 2 powder bronzers in here. I think in addition to the Undone bronzer, I'm going to grab my Milani Sunkissed bronzer. Even though I really like this one, I really don't use it often. This is almost more of a contour color, so I may use this to contour and then to also maybe kind of cool down that Undone bronzer because that one is really warm. So I'll probably do a combo of those. You know, I really don't have a whole lot of powder blushes. Of all my blushes, both cream and powder, I actually feel like I don't use this E.L.F. Cantaloupe Duo very often, even though I really love the shade. For me, it is really kind of like a spring and summer shade, and I really haven't used this recently. I've been using my cream blushes a lot more, so I'm going to grab this one. I think this will be both our blush and our highlight for today. Alright, so next we have lip products, and I was thinking my least used lipstick, or one of my least used, is definitely this Wet n Wild Violet's Kiss lipstick. I mean, this is like a bright purple. I hardly ever wear this, but this is not going to go well with this E.L.F. Cantaloupe Duo. I mean, those are just not exactly made for each other. So, but looking through my lipsticks, I'm trying to see if there's any in here that jump out at me as ones that I haven't used in a while. I also haven't used this Clove and Hallow Fiesta liquid lipstick very recently. This is really just like a warm red. That would go better with the Cantaloupe blush. So I might grab a couple of lip options just because I'm not really sure where this eye look is going to go. I have no idea yet. I haven't thought about that. So yeah, I definitely use all these nudes pretty regularly. And then my glosses. One that I really don't wear often is this Estate gloss in, what is that shade? Glazed. It's like a caramely gloss. Haven't had it for super long, but I've really only worn it like once or twice. I'm gonna grab these 3 lip options. They are very different from one another, but these are definitely 3 of my least used lip products. So depending on where this look goes, we'll use one of those. Okay, so this is one of my eye drawers. These are mainly drugstore palettes and then some other eye products back here. Dang, I have a lot of least used products that definitely don't go that well together. Like for example, I have this NYX Vivid Brights liquid liner in this yellow color, and then I have this Profusion Mauves palette that I was thinking of grabbing because this I definitely don't use enough, but those are not going to go together. So I could probably do like a round 2 of this video, to be honest. I definitely want to mainly focus on this Mauves palette because I really like this palette. I just don't use it enough. I don't know if it's because I know it's so inexpensive in my head. I'm like, no, I should reach for one of my more expensive palettes. I don't know what it is, but this needs some lovin', so let's grab this one. All right, I might end up rethinking that blush pick because this is not going to go with that Cantaloupe shade. Then these are kind of my more high-end palettes, and I feel like I've used all of these somewhat recently. The only one that I actually feel like I haven't used in a while is my Bili Beauty Ice of India palette. I really enjoy this palette, but I don't know, for some reason I consider it more of a fall palette, even though it can totally be used year-round. I mean, look at those. These are definitely like year-round colors, very like jewel-toned shades and then some warm shades. So I might grab this too, and then I might dip into that in addition to my Profusion palette. So this is what I have so far, and the more I think about this, the more I think I really want to use this Wet n Wild purple lipstick because truly, out of all my lip products, this is my #1 least used. So with that in mind, I think I am going to switch out this blush for something else because I do think this purple could go well with a look involving either of these palettes or both. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and commit to this purple because I know if I'm given the option between these 3, I'm not going to use the purple. So I'm going to take these other 2 lip products out and force myself to use the purple, and I'm going to take out this Cantaloupe blush. I will use this soon, I promise, but I don't think it's going to go with today's look. And I'm going to pick a different blush. You know what I could do is actually use this as a blush, or I could use one of these eyeshadows as a blush, because the more I look through my blush stash, I don't feel like I really have a blush that's for sure going to go with this. And I kind of want to try using this in multiple ways. So yeah, actually, and I do think some of these mauves colors could be really pretty as a blush. Like, either of those 2 could be beautiful. So yeah, let's do that and just not even worry about the rest of my blush collection, because honestly, my blush collection, I rotate through all of them. The only one I feel like I haven't used in a while is that Cantaloupe one, but that's just not going to go with these. So I'm going to put these back. My little safety net colors are going back in here. Goodbye. All right, so let's go put these on my face. All right, so let's get right into it, starting with this Angel Veil primer. I've been struggling to use this and also to see much progress on it in my project pan because I really only use like the tiniest amount. I feel like if I use too much of it, it doesn't quite do me any favors. So I only use just the smallest bit, and it's kind of just meant to smooth out your skin a bit, maybe give you a little bit of a smooth canvas for your foundation and everything. So just kind of pat that in. I apply it all over, but I mainly focus it in on the areas where I have visible pores. And I already have sunscreen on, by the way. I'm wearing the Pacifica C Sheer Face Serum SPF 55. This is one of my chemical sunscreens that is going to be included in my part 2 of my sunscreen roundup, which is coming soon, by the way. I'm just trying to give myself a little bit more time to test them because I really want to make sure I know them very well before I film the video. For foundation, we're using this NYX Born To Glow. I'm gonna give it a little shake because it's been a little while since I've used it, and I'm really curious to see what I think about this because last time I used it, we were getting into like the late fall, early winter, and it was not looking good on my skin. But last summer, I really enjoyed this. So for me, it's just really best in the warm months. I've heard though from people who have oily skin that they really like this one, and it's one of the few sort of glowy foundations that actually lasts well on oily skin. So I could definitely see that being the case. Now, even though it's getting warmer outside, I have had some dryness on my face since I started tretinoin. I feel like I've been mentioning that in like every video. I'm sorry. It's probably getting old hearing about that, but I feel like, you know, my skin has definitely been a little bit dry, but in a different way than it is in like the winter. Does that make sense? So, and that Pacifica sunscreen that I'm wearing is very, very hydrating. So I think that will hopefully help us out a little bit with this foundation. Building up a little more. Honestly, I squeezed out a little bit too much, but that's okay. Coverage is good. Really, it's been a while. I almost forgot I almost forgot about this foundation altogether. Okay, well, I actually think that looks really nice. It's so funny. It's like night and day compared to how it looked on my skin back in like November. And I do think that really, really hydrating sunscreen helped. Really not bad at all. So I'm actually looking forward to using this foundation more this summer. I'm glad I didn't declutter that back in the winter because I had a feeling. I was like, I think I might like this again in the summer. So, okay, so let's try out this Milani Conceal Perfect. I've reviewed this a couple times on my channel, and I've never felt like it was anything that special. I always felt like it was a little bit drying on me, but let's give it a whirl. Yeah, I always feel like it goes on dry, even like from the applicator. And I have the shade 115 Light Nude here. Alright, I mean, not bad. I still think I prefer the E.L.F. Hydrating Camo Concealer. I think that is my current favorite, just across the board. So as far as cream cheek products go, I did pick out this Undone Water Bronzer in Baked. So it looks really dark in the stick, but you can see it's actually quite sheer. This one I prefer to apply to a brush and then onto my face rather than directly to my face. So I'm going to use this Sigma Large Angled Contour. It's one of the only clean brushes I currently have. Just kind of fluff that on there. I feel like it's kind of lifting up my foundation. This might not be the best brush. It's a nice brush, but I think this is better for powder products. Let me grab a different brush. I'm going to use this E.L.F. Ultimate Blending Brush. This is much denser. I feel like my foundation got lifted. So even though this bronzer is a little warm for my liking, I actually think it looks really pretty just sheared out on my face. And I do like that cooling sensation that it has, so I think that's nice. I'm gonna try something crazy. I'm gonna try out this Wet n Wild Violet's Kiss lipstick on my cheeks as a blush. So what I'm gonna do is actually draw it onto my hand first, just a little bit of it like that, then pick it up on that same E.L.F. Ultimate Blending Brush. This is how I typically apply lipstick as blush. It's quite bold, but let's just... A lot of times this kind of color sheared out can look really pretty, so. Not half bad. I always like to take a little bit over the bridge of my nose. Well, I think that looks really pretty. Okay, so that Milani concealer, I never seem to like it. It looks dry on my under eyes. I actually haven't set it. I just realized I don't have a highlighter. I'm gonna grab one real quick. I went ahead and grabbed my Ofra highlighter in Retrograde. I really like this highlighter, but it's just not a shade or a formula that I've been reaching for very often lately, just because it is a very strong highlight, and I mean, it's purple, so, but since we're using a purple lipstick as a blush and a lipstick, I figured now is the good time to use a purple highlighter. So that's all the cream cheek products I'm going to use, so I'm going to go ahead and set my under eyes with the Jordana Forever Flawless Pressed Powder. This has such a strong scent. It smells like old lady perfume, but I do really like the formula of this powder. It just has a very kind of smoothing effect that you really wouldn't expect out of such an inexpensive powder. I don't think I'm going to set the rest of my face, at least not at this juncture, but I think I am going to apply some of this Milani Sunkissed bronzer. I really haven't been reaching for this very much recently, even though I do like it a lot. So I'm gonna just use this really fluffy Eco Tools full powder brush. And next for this highlighter. So whenever I try to wear just the purple, I think that's the shade Neptune, it doesn't look quite right. So I typically mix it with this other side, which is called Star Island. I'm just gonna take this E.L.F. Precision Featherlight highlighting brush and kind of dab back and forth between those two shades a couple times. Alright, so eyelid primer is on and brows are done, and let's go ahead and get into these eyeshadow palettes. So I'm thinking I mainly want to use the Profusion Mauves palette, but I may dip into a couple of these Bili Beauty shades as well. Kind of basing this entire look off of this purple lipstick, so I want to make sure that the eye look is going to go well with that. I'm going to start out with this shade called Lovely. It's just this light pink kind of transition color on my skin. By the way, guys, I think I'm going to be bringing back my 1 month 1 palette series. I'm really excited. I'm going to bring it back, I think, in June, so just like a little over a week away. Very excited. I enjoyed taking, I think it's been like 6 months since I have done it, and I've enjoyed just kind of letting myself use all my palettes and also play around with some of the newer palettes, but I think I'm ready to bring it back. I'm ready to start seeing some more like progress on my palettes, maybe hit pan on a few shades, and I have an idea for a way to still use all the rest of my palettes in my collection too, so I'll share more about that. But keep an eye out for a poll on my community tab soon though to help me pick out my next palette. I'm gonna grab a little bit of Kindly, which is that shade right above Lovely. It's a little bit more of a beigey pink, and just kind of apply that a little bit above the other shade, almost as like a transition to the transition. Man, this really is such a beautiful palette. I don't know why I don't use it more often. I really don't. I'm gonna go ahead and kind of smoke this on the lower lash line too. Let's grab some of Ballad, which is this kind of like dusty purpley mauve, and sort of concentrate that in the outer corner and like the outer part of the crease. I think I'm gonna have to change my shirt after this because this blue shirt is not gonna go very well with this look. Okay, so next I do want to reach into the Bili palette and grab some of this shade Tamara here. You can see it's a little bit more magenta-y than a lot of the Profusion shades. I'm gonna apply that to kind of like the center of my lid with a finger. And then next I'm gonna take some of Ooh La La from the Profusion Mauves palette. It's this middle shade. I feel like this look is getting a little too warm for this purple lip that we're gonna do, so I might have to fiddle with it a little bit. It's turning into a very like warm cranberry look, so I'm actually gonna kind of overlap this on top of that Bili Beauty shade too, because I kind of want to lighten and cool down this look just a bit. I feel like it got a little too cranberry. Gonna take a little bit more of Lovely here and blend, blend, blend. Next, I'm gonna grab some of Femme, which is this lightest pearly pink shade, and apply that to my inner corner. I feel like this look got way too red, and now I'm afraid that this is too purple now. Oh no, but I can't chicken out of the Wet n Wild purple lipstick. I don't want to let you guys down like that. Alright, let's try the lipstick. I might end up kind of shearing this out, but let's just apply it and see what happens. Okay, I think that works. I really sheared it out. I just applied a little bit and then sheared it out with my finger, so it almost looks like a lip stain or like a blotted lip. And I do think that that works, and I think once I have some mascara on, it'll all come together. So I'm gonna apply some of this Urban Decay Chill Setting Spray. This is supposed to have like a cooling effect to it. I don't feel like it's any more cooling than any other setting spray. And I do feel like the nozzle gets kind of stuck, so I'm gonna like wipe it off. Okay, I feel like now that I have that purple lipstick on, the eye look is looking more purple, which is good, because I wasn't necessarily going for a purple eye look, but I wanted it to be kind of a cool mauve that would complement the purple lipstick, and it ended up just being very berry. Very berry. Okay, I actually did grab 2 eyeliners just in case I wanted to do eyeliner. I think I am actually going to use both of these. I've got the Marc Jacobs Highliner in black, and then I also have the ABH Black Liquid Liner. So I'm going to tightline with the Marc Jacobs. I do want to kind of make this look a little bit more sultry than it's looking right now. Then I'm going to do a wing. I'm planning on doing a small wing, but it might end up big because usually that's what happens when I say I just want to do a small wing. So next for mascara, I'm just going to apply the ABH Lash Brag to my top lashes and the Undone Indie Lash to my bottom lashes. Alright, so that is the finished look using some of my least used makeup products. I really like the way this look turned out, which tells me that I really need to be using these products more often. But the thing that I think I actually enjoyed the most, surprisingly enough, the NYX Born To Glow foundation really surprised me. This looks amazing, so I'm definitely going to be using this a lot more this summer. We're getting into those warm weather days. We've got some highs of 97 this coming week, which I'm not ready for at all, but that means that this is probably, we're in the prime season to be using this foundation, so I'm going to be enjoying that a lot. So that concludes my full face of my least used makeup. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. But otherwise, if you're not already subscribed to my channel, I'd love to see you again soon. I upload about 3 videos every week, and hopefully I will talk to you very soon in my next video. Bye.